My name's Phil.
And I am Parrish.
I know you can't see Parrish, but he's with us to talk about some new decks from Dragon Ball Super. Well, this is Dragon Ball Super Card Talk Episode 2. We are the Open Seat Network. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, the new meta. I call this episode the new fast meta because
Because it's
Parrish
going to be very
go
slutty meta.
very slutty meta
It is going to be.
because it's going to be just back and forth, just swing for crit and pray that you can take your opponent's life down within a matter of minutes.
I feel like
Because go ahead.
whoever wins the dice roll is going to be able to rest a little easier than the one who doesn't. But
Okay,
I feel like it's been in the meta for the last couple of months anyway.
like what do you mean by that? Are you saying that whoever goes second pretty much has the easy streak?
No, whoever goes first is at a marked advantage.
Okay, because
Just
I mean they can't attack. Well,
the
if they
setup,
uh-huh.
their setup is just so much faster.
Hmm. Okay.
Like if you're playing any kind of cell deck, you
Yeah.
want to go first because you'll be able to get ahead of everybody. If you're
Sure.
playing veggies, you want to go first. You can place that green energy immediately and start digging for your kabas.
Right.
Um, if you're playing apes, you want to be able to get that King Vegeta out there as quickly as possible. So going first is really crucial in this game.
Hmm. See, I've looked at the other side of that, and like even in the store championships I just played in, uh,
Mhm.
I decided to run apes because I mean it's consistent, and let's be honest, right now consistency is key. If you can draw, if you can drop, and if you can play cards without having to worry about a response, it's just kind of that's the key to it. With the cold bloodlust leaving, with the crusher balls not being as common, people are kind of sitting there going, how fast do we get smacked? And
Yeah,
apes was just the answer to that. And I felt more comfortable going second every time than going first. But maybe that's just that deck. Um, but you know what? We could talk to death the set 3 and set 2 metas that we have been suffering through for the last 6 months. But
yeah.
let's get started on set 4. I'm really excited about Friday. Um, I don't know about people actually out there because I mean it can be one of those things where people aren't super excited about seeing this rapid meta. But I'm not so much excited about seeing the rapid meta. I am just really excited about seeing a new meta.
New
Uh,
meta is always good. This game gets pretty stale pretty quickly. I know there's a lot of boohooing about product coming out like every month and a half.
yeah.
But you know how right before a new set comes out, how many people are like, I'm just so tired of this veggies and apes and whatever else is going on that they want to just play something brand new.
No, that's completely where I sit a lot of times with my locals. Um, to give you guys an idea, I play personally in the Austin area now because that's where I just moved to. Parish is in El Paso,
I'm in the El Paso area. Yeah.
which, I mean, both areas have a really strong community set. They have lots of players that are top tier. And it's, I mean, how many people do you see at your normal locals? About 15 to 20?
About 15 regularly. We play twice a week.
Yeah.
Regularly, it almost never doesn't. It never doesn't fire
Hmm.
on set, except for in certain stores. But I think that's going to change soon once they start getting people excited about it.
Hmm.
Um, but there's everybody that plays loves the game. Everybody that plays is really friendly. I think the greatest part about our community is that nobody is kind of a jerk or a power shark.
That's awesome.
um, and we love new players. We love teaching the
Hmm.
game to new players. So yeah, I really enjoy my community quite a bit.
That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. I'd played in Austin a few times before I moved down here, and it was a mixed bag for a while about community standard and things like that. And, you know, you'd come in and you wouldn't be prepared for a meta that was completely different, or you just didn't know the people. And as I've gotten to know the people, everybody's been super cool. Just everybody's laid back, having fun, talking trash, you know, doing the normal things that you would see anyway in a community of any size. And we're seeing, you know, a minimum of 8 at some of the locations, even though there's a place to play, I think, every day of the week except for maybe Tuesday.
Mhm.
Which, and actually I think I'm wrong, I think Tuesday's even at one of the stores too, but it's one of those where I think that one's the furthest away from me, so I don't go there that often. But like, I've never seen anybody be brewed since I moved down here. Everybody plays really hard and has a lot of fun, and we have a lot of actually kids that actually stick around with these people. You know, they're 20 somethings and they're good.
Right.
They actually know how to play the game. They actually play really hard, and they actually build their decks, and they seem to have all the luck in packs.
That is something we've noticed too. Newbies, for some reason, they always crack a secret rare.
Yeah.
Within like the first 2 or 3 packs they buy, they crack a secret. And I'm like, wow, I should just start getting people off the streets to buy packs for me.
Buy your packs
Just
for
buy
you.
3 packs and let's see what I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just get that newbie luck.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm sorry. I can't be there to pull your cards for you anymore. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
But you know, that's okay. So you know what? Let's we've chatted about our communities. We've chatted about the game. Let's hit up on some of these decks that we were talking about.
Sure.
So obviously, everybody at home that's watching the Twitch stream right now can already see my desktop and everything else. I pulled up a couple of decks that I wanted us to talk about this week. The Mirror Droids deck. We're gonna ignore that one for now because, unfortunately, that was something that I actually did with one of your community members last week. Cairo, I believe his name is.
Cairo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. I walked him through my Mira build versus yours, and the differences of why, like, I was using Chilling Terror because I took all your Chilling Terrors, and
Yeah, you did. I have 2 more now,
Mhm.
but just in this last meta, I felt like because things were either going too fast or it was super easy to kill him anyway, I just stopped using it.
See, and the other side of it is I feel like so many people are using the untapped 2 energy leaders that I just don't see the worth on him anymore. I'd rather use the barrier U7 one if I was gonna if I'm gonna use one for a 3-drop.
I think yeah, especially with the Ultra Instinct Goku builds.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
use like Universe 7. They use Universe 7 Frieza, or they'll use Gohan. I've
Frieza.
seen one use Cell,
Mhm.
which I thought was interesting. So that Universe 7 is kind of a sleeper hit. It feels real bad to lose to Victory Strike.
You know, I actually I saw a U7 with Cell leader last week at a store championship, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it was probably one of the finest decks I saw. And the guy that was piloting it, like, he dropped a game. I think he dropped game 2 or game 3. Round 2 or round 3, and he was talking about how he didn't feel like it had a bad downside because he had a dead card in his hand. Cool, chunk it, get rid of something. I mean, get rid of something on the board. And I was like, yeah, because he dropped a card on me and got rid of my three drop King Vegeta, and I sat there and went, all right, I guess I can't screw around. I'm just gonna have to waste a 5th turn my 4th turn to be able to just go ahead and rock into King Vegeta. But
yeah, its biggest issue is Awakening, but if you're running U7, you just slap that yellow Goku down and you're good to go.
Yeah, and you just kind of laugh. I have to agree that that's definitely what you do. All right. Well, anyway, let's look at gas, which is it's kind of my intro idea to how fast red is going to run from now on, in
With
especially set 4.
Yeah, the red's biggest issue was it hit really hard, really
Mhm.
fast, but it put cards in your opponent's hands.
Yes.
With critical, it's a major game changer.
One, and we have so many answers to crit now. Or excuse me, I should say we have so many things that give us crit now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The only thing I wait for is a combo like Champa that gives crit instead of double strike. Because
Well,
we got
yeah.
we got the combo with crit. Now we just needed Champa with crit.
So yeah, and that would be interesting, but I feel like you already get there with your double strike, furthering destruction, and
Yeah.
if this silly thing would load. All right. Of course, this is the one time that, like, as I'm trying to talk about it, it doesn't load up for me.
On
Uh,
DBS decks, yeah, it
yeah,
seems to be slow.
yeah. For whatever reason, I'm guessing they're just having some web issues right now. But
There it goes.
no, mine isn't still. Okay, cool. So, obviously, we have a few differences in how we look at this deck, and that's okay. Um, I feel like it's a really strong deck either way, especially the differences between your build and my build. Um,
Hmm.
right now, obviously, on screen, we're only going to be able to look at my build at the moment, and I will make sure that everybody gets a copy as well of your build, and I'll just call it Gas 2 or whatever, and make sure that we link both of them at the end of the show. That way everybody can see it. I will also throw this in the Twitch channel right now, just in case anybody is watching and wants to be able to follow us. So, and obviously they just don't want to have to watch the screen. So, the first thing that I looked at was the leader is. Let's talk about leaders for a moment.
Hmm.
Is there really a better leader right now than Super Saiyan 3? Son Goku slash Heightened Evolution Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku.
In terms of pure utility, no. I think it's going to be the one that it's going to be the leader that it's been since it came out. Is the question? Is this deck better with Super Saiyan 3 Goku? And the
Yes.
answer is usually yes.
Yes. And
So I
that's.
think it's going to continue until something better comes, or until they decide to do a rotation, which I don't think they're doing anytime soon.
I agree. And I really don't see a rotation within 4 more sets. Like,
At least.
yeah. And I'm thinking it's.
The game's not even out a year, and it's already on set 4,
Mhm.
5 technically with the expansion set that we got with TOP. So there's
That's
plenty
fair.
of cards to play with, and I think there's going to be plenty more to come before we rotate.
Yep. So I'm gonna run through some of the cards in this set real quick, and then you're probably gonna be able to follow exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing here. And Parrish, obviously, feel free to disagree anytime that you hear something that you're just not super keen on.
Hmm.
So the backbone of this deck is the idea that we're going to be dropping 1-drops with crit, and 1-drops that are going to help us awaken and plus our hand while hurting our opponent more than what it's hurting us. So, in a perfect world, you're going to start with 5 cards because of SS3. And when you pop over those 2 cards with SS3, you're going to be looking for 2 red cards because you need those
Right.
2 energies. So, in my build here, we've got Legendary Flute and Vados' Assistance as our only extras. The Vados Assistance is just in case we couldn't get the card back to our hand with Flute that we needed to keep alive. We can, especially for the extra draw, we have Vados' Assistance to be able to say, no, you can't attack that this turn unless you have something that can attack cards in active mode, which is a huge deal because how many cards in the game right now do that? Well,
Um, There's a few that, but I think it's about 4 to 5. There's about a handful of them that do it.
Yeah, but it's a rarer ability than what you really see in the meta, unless of course you're dealing with red green veggies, which you'll see
Keep in
that.
mind you have Vados leader too, which is might show its head. I'm not sure.
That's a you know what I agree with you. That's actually something that has been on my mind is could Vados Leader actually come back with all these cards that are needing to stay in non the leaders for the fact of a leader that can attack things in active mode instead of being in defense mode only, or excuse me, WoW rested mode. So
Right.
we're starting with intensifying power trunks for the crit. We also have our double strike Saiyan Kabas. Um, the idea behind this deck is that we don't want to give our opponent uh, items that they can use against us. So we definitely want to attack with our critters if we can. Kaba gives us another option though, just to end games if we have to.
He's definitely gonna be a good game ender for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's always good to drop that first turn in red to get that good push, but at the same time, you just gave them 2 cards.
Right.
So that's why in every way intensifying power trunks is a better card. So drop intensifying power. Obviously when this card attacks, draw your card, give him crit. Use your second energy with SS3 to hopefully furthering destruction. That's a 25,000 double striking crit attacking your enemy first thing. So no matter what, you literally go, okay, you can either drop 1 to 2 cards out of your hand minimum to be able to stop this attack, or you can take double crit to the face. And if they're running SS3, you can't really take double crit to the face very often. That's a really quick way of losing all your advantage, even if you do have double energy starting.
Right.
The other side of this is that it's made so that we can drop cards out of our hand quickly. If you'll notice here, there is literally 2 cards, 2 that have combo that actually cost us, and that's Furthering Destruction Champa and Miraculous Comeback Ultimate Gohan. Outside of that, everything else is 5,000. And the idea here is that you don't care if you have to drop the extra card in your hand. If it makes them have to neg on their deck, you're doing the right thing. If they are negging out of their hand to be able to stop your attack, you've got them right exactly where you want to in red. Because without the catch-up mechanic, because crit's hitting them, they're going to suffer from a loss of hand quickly. And especially if they went first and you're going second with this deck, I found Bodyguard Lead Gick is really useful because they already left a card in their hand or in their battle area. Cool. Let's pop that intensifying power trunks back to our hand, draw a card from it, and we then drop our blocker. Bam. So now we have something on the board to stop our opponent's attacks. We have something back in our hand that's going to be useful later. And if nothing else, if we need to still be dropping cards out of our hand as quickly as possible when we're attacking, cool. Keep Ledic alive during the blocking phase by comboing up so that you can then go down to your Miraculous Comeback Gohans. When your opponent awakens, go to your Pride and Justice Topos to be able to counterattack. And of course, your final, when you really got to make sure that this next attack goes through, for seeing hits so that you can remove super combos from their hand. Go ahead.
I can see it.
It just was. I was looking at the KISS philosophy of building a deck. Keep it simple,
Mm-hmm.
stupid. I want to hit you and hit you and hit you and hit you. I don't care if it's 3 attacks for 2, 4 attacks for 1, as long as they're crit.
Right.
All I care about is crit, 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 crit. Because as long as you are negging your hand to be able to do anything about it, I'm not going to run out of gas. I've got plenty of it behind me. I get low on cards. Cool. Miraculous Comeback Gohan becomes my ultimate ender. Because now I can just attack your cards that are in rest mode. And yeah, you're going to get 2 cards from it. But I'm going to do that to swing for game. Especially if I can drop 2 to 3 Miraculous Comeback Gohans by turn 4. But anyway, obviously there's some other choices in here that we disagree about. We've got Desperate Onslaught Bardock. I've got it in here because I think an Overwhelm critical hitter that stops blockers and stops them from comboing from their battle area with U7 Gohan being so popular is a huge deal. Talk me through what you think about it. Like we were talking a little bit earlier. You're not sold on Desperate Onslaught.
I mean, it's a perfectly fine card. I think getting the 5 cards into your grave is going to be the toughest part, I think. But the thing about, I guess, flute decks that people are talking about that seems to be the obvious answer, especially since you're running a blue leader, is the combo trunks.
Yeah.
Because that's going to get you possibly 2 attacks with intensifying power trunks, maybe even 3 if you're using legendary flute as well. Because you swing, you combo with those trunks, and you untap 2, and then you're able to do it all over again.
Yeah.
And you can look at a devastating turn 2 by bringing them down to 6 critical.
Yeah. And especially if during those draws you're grabbing your Furthering Destructions and things like that, they're having to neg their hand to be able to even keep up.
Because it's the thing, you play this intensifying power trunks, you take a point, it's 1 card you're drawing, you swing, you attack, and then you combo off. You're talking about 15, 20, 35 double strike critical. They're not going to be able to protect that. And then you flute after you untap your 2 energy, and then you play it again.
Yeah.
And then you're swinging again. So you're drawing a total of at least 3 cards. And Awakening, so you're drawing another 2 cards. You're drawing 5 cards. You're doubling your hand on turn 5 just off of that 4 card play at most. So you're plussing cards in your hand, and you're dealing massive damage to them.
Or you're negging their hand, which is the idea.
Correct.
And I think that you're right. I think the Desperate Onslaught Bardocks could possibly switch out, and especially in a side deck for this deck, I would definitely be throwing 4 of the combo trunks. Because, I mean, free energy is free energy. Obviously, it's got to be done during your turn, and yeah, at the end of my turn, if I'm awakened, obviously I'm going to get my energy back for my Vados' assistance, my few things that I have to pay for comboing. But, or actually, even more to the point, is Pride and Justice Topo, so that you can counter the attack, and then, of course, have another attacker on the field for next turn.
Right.
And especially since Topo can restand every time that he removes a card from your opponent's battle area. I mean, there's just something really good about that, I hate to say.
Yeah, he's one of the less good but still very good board wiping. Actually, better because he can do it more than once, I think.
Yeah.
Than Jiren.
Exactly.
Jiren can only do it once.
And even though Jiren is swiping for 35,000, and that's huge for that first attack, Jiren just doesn't have the gas to get there, whereas Topo gives you that counterattack, and then, of course, you know, if you've already awoken them, cool. Perfect. Let's play this for 2.
Right.
Which I'm gonna have if I'm playing SS3, because I'm going to get a minimum of 3 energy back every turn.
Yep.
The other side of this, and why I think this deck is a lot of fun, at least to me, is that it, other than the burst attack Sun Gohan, which we don't know and could change slots if it needs to. Because what we could do is actually switch this to BCC Gohan, where we're drawing cards with it. Uh, because obviously you're not going to do the double attack because it's not crit.
Right.
The other side of it is that like almost everything is under chain attack trunks. So almost every single thing chain attack trunks can pull out from the deck, except for obviously Hit, Topo, and Gohan.
Yep.
But we could play chain attack into a fearless pan, turn 2, and then still drop another intensifying power trunks. Or excuse me, well, drop the other intensifying power trunks first and then do it. There's just so many options on how the cards can back and forth on each other. And I think I'm getting closer to believing that, yeah, that Desperate Onslaught Bardock may just be kind of a waste. Even though I feel like we're dropping cards in our, if we're doing it right, into our drop every single turn.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you get that free kind of critical that can't be blocked card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but that's going to be later game.
Yeah.
You may look into putting in 1 or 2 if you really, really wanted it. Maybe
Yeah.
side him in case you have a game that's going to go a little longer that you know of. Like say they have the counters to this deck, which I can go over after.
Yes, please.
But main board, I think it's better to kind of go all balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Aggro, because I think that's what this deck wants to do.
That's fair.
It wants to kill.
Yeah, it does want to kill. And I do like the fact that the most expensive parts of this, other than obviously Burst Attacks on Gohan, which we don't know, and Desperate Onslaught Bardock, are the pans and the Ultimate Comeback Gohans and the hits. And Hit and Ultimate Comeback Gohan are $6-7 super rares now. And Pan is right at like $12. So maybe $10, especially on TCG Player or something like that, instead of how DBS Dex does it, pulling off of PPG. But there's a big thing to be said that almost everything else in this deck is uncommon and common.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed in this game in general, is that you don't need super rares to necessarily compete.
Yeah.
A lot of them help, but they're not super necessary unless you're playing veggies, at which point then you're paying out the nose.
Yeah, you're $160 for the veggies package, maybe 100. Say again.
Even apes. I think apes you can buy for less than the veggies package. The whole deck.
Yeah,
you can buy for less than
that. I think you're
apes
right.
Are super competitive, and that's thanks to a blessing and a curse from Bandai in releasing as many TP3s as they have. They've flooded the markets. Everybody has everything they need, but now everything's kind of crashed in terms of worth.
Well, and I kind of wonder if I'm not okay with that again for set 4. I know that it sucks for the secondary market where you want to recoup some of your costs for playing in tournaments.
Right.
But yeah, the other side of that is, however, you can get cards together to play and actually enjoy the game for cheaper, and you don't have to be one of the top tier players to be able to do that.
And you don't have to do that as it is. Usually the tournaments will give you at least 1 tournament pack per tournament anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty good for especially new players who need to get stuff. I think the biggest issue is the dash pack stuff is really tough to get.
That's
because
fair.
They come out one.
The dash packs are, definitely something that I'm worried about. The Bardock is obviously a dash pack. All right. Well, I want to go over one more deck tonight. Actually, no. You know what, Parrish? Give us your counters first, because you're usually
counters to this deck. I'm looking at is going to be peel off. Surprisingly enough. For that intensifying power trunks when it comes into play, it gets critical.
Yep.
And you play him when they attack, so they'll have to take the point when they attack, or they can decide. But
Yeah.
Well, that might not be a counter actually. Now that I think about it, because you declare it the attack. Okay, so forget Pilaf. Pilaf is bullshit. Um, what you do need is full power energy,
Yeah.
a negate that we haven't seen in a very, very long time because it's been garbage for a very, very long time. Probably the worst negate in the game.
Yeah.
Um, mine and not counting Raccoon's eraser gun.
That's fair.
Um, but now it's going to be very relevant, and
Mm-hmm.
especially in a meta where veggies and possibly mono green veggies can see a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's going to be huge. I see this deck particular, um, a variation of it running green and red,
Mm-hmm.
and running a cell leader
Mm-hmm.
and using the Android 16 super combos.
Right.
I think you might see that as a hard counter for this deck because it gives you access to that new Gohan, which is just another
Yeah.
power intensifying power trunks.
Which is the same thing. Yeah.
Um, it's the exact same thing. So you have multiple chances to get what you need. You don't need that. You can use it, but you don't need that combo trunks anymore necessarily.
Right.
But because they're one drops, you can get a one red and one green, and you can be rocking and rolling with both of them and
It's
have
true.
no problems.
Yeah.
So and with that Android 16, that it doesn't draw you a card, but it is so devastating, especially when you're getting hit for critical,
Yep.
to lose even more cards right
Yeah.
off the bat.
Well, and especially if you're choosing to either use that, or excuse me, you're choosing to either take the potential damage from crit,
Right.
or you're choosing to just kind of neg out of your hand to be able to get cards. And if you're getting negged even more, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I actually like your idea. I think green red variant of this would actually be interesting. Um, if at some point one of us gets one of those written, definitely we'll share it around and see what we can talk about on that. I think that would be an interesting. So our other deck that we're going to talk about tonight is going to be our Goku Lineage deck, which is well, I think I hit the wrong button.
Send me a link to that one because that one I don't have a link to.
Yeah, it's being silly. There it goes. This is a work in progress, unfortunately. First things first, it's also going to go into our Twitch channel so that you can follow along at home. And then
I've been hearing tell about some fun stuff with Goku's Lineage. I'm not as interested just because I'm tired of Goku cards.
yeah,
Even though I'm aware it's the Goku show.
well, I mean, yeah, of course it kind of always is. It's always been Goku's show. That's kind of the idea. All right, so this deck is still a big work in progress because when I first threw this together, I had made a mistake. I had not thrown in here the natural, obvious thing for Bardock the progenitor.
The ape.
Yeah, the ape.
Yeah.
I mean, there was, and I think I know the reason why. It's because I only have two Will of Irons.
Wow.
Yeah, I know,
There's
right?
not anybody in your groups that has like 10 million of them.
Well, most of them just get rid of stuff pretty quickly. It's just how it works. And I need to just go ahead and get off my butt and go ahead and grab a couple more because
Well, I think I have two, so I'll just go ahead and try to send them to you as soon as I can.
fair enough, that'll work. I've got to get the Bardocks now because pre-order prices are $20 to $25 a piece, which is insane.
Yeah. I think it's going to stick around 20. I know people are talking about it going down to 15.
Yeah,
It's just, I mean, you were talking about turn one awakening. It's too good.
yeah,
It's too good not to.
exactly. And especially since you can bounce it back to your hand for free. I mean, it's what? Uh,
It's insane.
it is totally insane. And the fact that Ox King gets Goku Lineage, why?
Yeah. Oh, turn one double Ox King, you are golden.
Yeah. All other yellow battle cards in your battle area with energy cost 3 or less gain barrier. Cause Ox King. Yeah, I
Yep.
almost feel like first turn double Ox King is a completely fair and completely safe play that just says, hey man, for the rest of this, anything 3 or under, F off.
Yeah. Much. There's one thing that I'm seeing missing in at least in a couple of these decks is a lack of Chronoa. Is there a reason you're deciding not to play any of her?
Honestly, it was just because this was a first attempt of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, and I wanted you to
Mhm.
pick it apart as part of what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I only ask because I mean Chronoa is going to be a big part of the meta next
It's true.
once this set is. The biggest issue people are going to be having is finding out where to put it. Because while yeah, it's a free card essentially. You play one, you draw one, you don't neg any cards in your hand, and it deals with an entire deck essentially.
Yeah.
Um, Finding a spot for it, especially in Super Saiyan 3, is going to be tough.
Yeah, and it's unfortunately like at this point, I only threw the Mass Saiyan in here as for some spot removal. I mean, Cronoa could take those 3 slots without any issue. Um, it could also take half the other um, big number cards here because I mean you don't need all of the enders, you just need some of them.
Yeah.
Um, and that's and I wish I had prepared this deck a little bit better now because I feel like it's just not doing what I want it to. But Lineage, let's talk about Lineage for a minute. Goku's Lineage has some of the most, they're not broken mechanics, but they are degenerate, in my opinion, mechanics. If I can just pop this card back to my hand with Bardock, I can just pop it back to my hand and not care.
Mm-hmm.
There is something.
And just place it turn when you don't need it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, there's just something wrong there. I understand why people don't want to use the slots for flute in Lineage because Lineage is already working on a lot of slots that it needs for stuff.
I think Successor of Hope's a better spot for than Flute, to be honest with you, because Bardock. That's 8 Bardocks essentially that you got going on in your deck.
Exactly. Well, and the fact that you can just, look for anything 5 or less, which means that, okay, your Abrupt Breakthrough is there, your Reborn Might SS4, your Ultimate Form Son Gokus are all right there.
Your Ox King is there. Your Gotens are there.
Yeah.
Everything's just
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And the only thing that's not in there in that deck is the Height of Mastery Son Goku. Or the, or the Secret Rare. Which, Goku Jr., I'm sorry, man. I'm not playing you. I'm not even worried about it. If I pull you, you're getting sold.
I haven't even gotten a chance to really see what he does.
So, it's when you combo, like when you attack, you can combo with the top 7 cards of your deck. And if you find 5 different Goku Lineage cards, you immediately do 2 damage to your opponent.
I see.
So it's not bad, especially since it has triple strike. And you could do it.
He costs 8. You can't do that in this deck though.
Yes, you can.
Card attacks. How do you play for 8?
So swap 8, Abrupt Breakthrough Son Goku, or Reborn Might SS4 Son Goku.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what makes swap to me degenerate. For 4 energy, 4 yellow energy, I could swap I can swap Reborn Might SS4 Son Goku for any 8 cost or less. That's Goku Lineage. Which, oh yeah, Height of Mastery has it. Oh yeah, our secret rare has it, or one of our secret rares has it, and it's just like, go ahead.
It'd be interesting to run a singleton deck with that secret rare.
What do you mean?
Like a singleton deck, just one copy of each Son Goku's lineage.
Ah, okay, I see. Uh,
It's an idea. I haven't really looked at everything if there's enough to do that, but
Not
that
at
would
the
be
moment. There's not
an
enough go.
interesting.
Yeah, no, I see where you're going with that. I mean, other than that, obviously, Successor of Hope's in here, and Flying Nimbus for our counterattack.
Hmm.
I mean, Yellow has been blessed with the two greatest negates in this game. Or, well, counters.
And so then you're not playing one of them.
Oh, yeah, because you don't have to in this deck.
No Roshis.
Yeah, what's the point? Why do I need a Roshi? Explain to me.
You probably don't.
Turn 3.
Well,
If things are going right, turn 3, I'm at Height of Mastery Son Goku.
I think the biggest issue you're going to run into is running into the gas, or a version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you awaken too early, you're going to be getting hit real hard, real fast.
That's true. And that's the thing about Goku's lineage that I've always felt is the most worrisome. Because you've got a ton of cards here that can do a ton of really cool things together, right?
Hmm.
The problem is that they don't do enough by themselves. How many of these actually have
Like blocker, for example. There's no
yeah,
blockers in this.
in this obviously, and then there's a lot of these don't have. There's other than like Goten, which is just the most broken 2-drop I've ever seen. Um, like Scrambling Assault Sun Goten, I cannot wait for the BCC card to come out, only because that card is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to attack with this card. I'm going to look at the top 3 cards. I'm going to draw one, and then I'm going to put the other 2 in any order on the bottom of my deck. Done. But
Yeah.
there's no crit in this. There's no... And yeah, you can add a lot more double strike. You can definitely add the Bardock blocker slash double striker with his ape form. Obviously, there
Yeah.
are way... Go ahead.
I think it's going to be an auto ad is going to be
Yeah,
that guy. And, Planet Vegeta you don't have in this deck either.
I don't. And you know, I honestly when I was just throwing this together, I was looking for Goku's lineage only, and I was trying to stick with mostly just Goku's lineage. And I realized that there are a lot of things that I'm missing in this deck.
I
And
think what you do is if you put in the Bardock,
mhm,
you take out the Successor of Hope and you put in Planet Vegeta.
hmm,
Because
maybe,
it's going to let you find mostly what you need,
yeah,
or at least filter.
yeah,
'Cause you'll get those blockers early if you need it, and you can immediately combo that dude off and get him off turn 1 or turn 2.
mm-hmm,
So you have a 20k double strike blocker that you can untap immediately.
mm-hmm. No, I see where you're going with that, and you're probably not wrong. It's probably something I should definitely look at in this deck, especially. Um, And you know, I honestly I would love to see your build for Lineage. Um, most people obviously that are watching our show right now, and there's a few of you, thankfully. Thanks, we really do appreciate it. Um, most people don't realize is that uh, Parrish is the genius behind the deck builds, and he's a great pilot. But I'm the better pilot. Sorry, Parrish.
Yeah. Uh, Honestly, I'm a good mechanical pilot. I have shit luck. Like my luck rash. So if I usually I don't draw very well or as well as other people do. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's my shuffle. Or maybe I'm just cursed. But
Mm-hmm.
my draw luck is usually what gets me into 3-1 territory.
Yeah, and you know it's I feel like the one thing that I could do in piloting, especially in this game, better is I need to push my luck more. I need to be going for more aggressive plays, since the game
And you
is.
know what?
Go ahead.
My buddy Brian's told me that is that I think too much. and I tell them, well, I'm trying to play chess and
Mhm.
not checkers.
Yeah.
Well, you need to start playing checkers, motherfucker, because you're not making the plays that you need to make.
No,
And
that's
I feel
interesting.
like that's a fair criticism.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a fair criticism for both of us on this game. I feel like I look at this and just go, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then it's going to work out this way. And that's
Yeah,
not how this game works at all. You just have
yeah.
to. Go ahead.
A lot of the times you really don't know how a card's going to work until you actually play it.
Mm-hmm.
You can theorize all you want, and once you play it, you won't really realize how it works out until you do. I had
Mm-hmm.
that issue with the new Beerus. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was the greatest card in the world. And, I thought, oh, it's going to start getting rid of cards in people's hands, or it's going to start destroying stuff. As soon as I played it, I was like, this card is garbage. All it did was awaken my opponent and put cards in there, and they didn't lose any cards in their hand because they would discard one or two and take the double strike. So I was like, I'm done with this card.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have known that until I actually played the card.
Yeah. I've seen both sides on that Beerus. I've seen the player that says, "All right, sure, you got me this time," and I feel like that Beerus needs to be combined with something else that's dropping cards out of their hand, so that they can't
Mhm.
just go, "Okay, yeah, I'll just drop two cards from my hand,"
Yeah,
and that's
or
really
one card. 'Cause, I mean, you have two of these Ultra Instinct Gokus in your hand. You drop one and you're done, and then you take the double strike and you've got two more cards.
yep.
So you plus one. So
That's
it's when you have these big cards in decks, it's real tough to play that card.
mm-hmm. Oh gosh, sorry, neck pop. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I want to see your stab at this. I want to see what you have to offer for Goku's Lineage. Um, Let me know when you got it. I'd love to take a look at it. And obviously, I need to come back with a little bit better of a even crack at this deck myself, because this is just, even for me, piss poor.
I mean, usually, I mean, what I like to, I just start off with something very basic. Essentially, what you did is like, okay, what's all the Goku's lineage I can throw at this?
Yeah.
Okay, I had 65 cards. Okay, what sucks? Okay, let's take those out. Okay, now you start playing it and figure out, okay, what's slow, what's fast,
Mm-hmm.
what other cards from other sets can I put in this that I can kind of sacrifice the Goku's lineage for,
Mm-hmm.
and you just kind of whip it down, man. You make that little boat out of wood, little by little, shave by shave.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I th- I think with that, unless you've got some other remarks on this particular deck, I feel like we've covered everything I wanted to tonight. Obviously, this is going to be a little bit shorter of a stream than we normally do, but yeah, that's okay. I don't want to just keep talking about stuff just to
Yeah.
be talking about it.
One
Uh,
thing that one bit of news that came out
oh yeah,
that I
yeah.
just I've only seen. I don't know any details about. I don't think anybody does. It's just the poster, I think.
Uh-huh.
But when Broly, man,
Oh, I know, right? I can't wait.
Bro,
My Broly overlords, please come back.
Akira Toriyama is taking a stab at a character he did not create, and we'll see what he does with it.
I can't wait. And I think that he's going to look different. I think he's going to completely act different. I don't think he's going to act like a whiny little, pissant.
Do, do you think? I don't think they're going to bring. I don't think he's going to bring back Paragus. I think he's going to kind of combine Paragus and Broly
Mm-hmm.
and make Broly an actual smart character.
Yeah,
Because when you've been alive or as strong as he is for as long as he has been kind of silent, I think you might see a more enlightened Broly.
well, and I kind of wonder if they're going to combine the whole original Super Saiyan God with the Broly character.
That would have to make Broly a good guy. Um,
No,
that would be kind of weird.
no.
The original Super Saiyan was a good guy. If you
Well,
go
okay.
back to your,
No,
he
no.
was a
Now
good guy.
you're right. Your lore says that he stopped all of the evil and
Saiyan's great.
all the bad-natured Saiyans. But then he kind of disappeared, and that doesn't mean that he
Yeah,
stayed good.
that's true. There could have been a certain level of corruption.
Yeah,
But we'll see. I mean, a good guy Broly could be interesting too. I mean,
I would think that
Akira
would.
Toriyama likes to subvert almost everything.
Yeah,
What more subversion than all he does is turn bad guys into good guys.
right.
So
When
let's see.
Kale never felt like a bad Saiyan or a bad character.
No. When she went, you know, when she went in her rage or whatever, I mean, she had no mind.
Mm-hmm.
But once she figured it out, she's a perfectly good character.
Yeah,
All of the Saiyans in that universe were though.
yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what he does with Broly.
And of course, Frieza's still a bastard, no matter what universe.
Yeah, Frieza and a fight between Frieza and Broly. Oh my! Like we saw Goku and Frieza fight together. Now we get to see Frieza and Broly fight. Probably. I have a feeling we're gonna not see the last of Frieza anytime soon.
Oh no, especially not with the fact that he's got a brand new army behind him. I mean,
Right.
I think this is just kind of the beginning of the continuation of that fight.
So I think I have high hopes. I've enjoyed the series thus far, even through its downs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm okay with it. I know there are a lot of people who are like, oh, Broly, more Broly.
Oh my
Why not?
gosh. Yeah, I know, right?
Broly's big in this country, man.
Yep.
Like, most people in America love Broly for whatever reason.
I'm gonna end on this note then. Um, you're gonna go see the re-released movies when they come out.
Maybe I have them all already, so
Yeah.
I can watch them whenever I want.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Um,
also limited edition Broly Leader. I mean, come on, man. Got to collect it
oh,
all.
that's fair. Yeah, maybe we'll have to take a look at it, see when if we even get showings here.
You should. You should. But if you don't, you can always come to Austin and hang out. You know that. So, with that, guys,
Sure.
I'm going to say, hey, thanks for joining us with the Open Seat Network and, of course, episode 2 of Dragon Ball Super Talk. Um, Next time, if you guys have questions or ideas or things that you would like us to cover, please feel free to message me, message the channel, message us on Facebook, like us on Twitch. Please follow us on Twitch. It helps us grow the network just a little bit more. But yeah, my name's Phil,
I'm Parrish.
and we really appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for coming out. Take it easy.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.